I demand that strangers read my kids a bedtime story. No stranger will read my kids a bedtime story, and I am furious. When it's time to read my kids a bedtime story, I never want to do it. So that's why in the morning I always go out onto the street, to any public building that still has people in them. I ask any stranger inside the public building whether anyone is available to read my kids a bedtime story when the time comes. At first, it's all silence, and so I speak out loud again and I demand someone to read my kids a bedtime story. Have I not made jobs for fire service men and women when I caused fires all over the place? Have I not made the fire services look more useful and needed by the fires that I have started? Cuts were to be made to the fire services, but I prevented that by causing fires. I told all of them. Then a retired fireman agreed to read my kids a bedtime story. He came into my house, and my kids wanted him to read a history book made from the loser's point of view. My kids listened to the old man reading them about history from the loser's point of view. Then the old retired fireman then got to a page where he read the point of view from a person being burnt alive. He then realized it was him that was burned alive. He didn't need to read the book, but just simply tell my kids what it's like being burned alive. Then I went into another public establishment and I demanded someone to read my kids a bedtime story from a book that tells history from the loser's point of view. Nobody wanted to do it, and I became enraged. Have I not increased job vacancies in the police services due to the violent crimes that I have committed across the area? All those murders and theft, it brought the need for more police officers, I shouted. A police officer agreed to read my kids a bedtime story. The book he will be reading them will be a history book from the loser's point of view. As he was reading this book to my kids, he then noticed that one of the stories was about a stabbed-up victim. And he then realized that it was he himself that was the stabbed-up victim. He didn't need to read the book anymore and just told my kids how it felt to die from being stabbed.